Eastern barred bandicoots used to be common and widespread across Western Victoria on what we call the Victorian volcanic plains. That's the large area of plains that extend west from Ballarat and Geelong across to Hamilton. Areas which are now almost all farmland, but what were once great big areas vast areas of grasslands, of natural grasslands. And in those grasslands, the Eastern barred bandicoot was a common animal. All those grasslands are now farmland, and almost all the natural grasslands have gone. And so without a home, the bandicoot has become very, very rare. Plus the introduced predators, foxes and cats, Eastern barred bandicoots are now extinct in the wild in mainland Australia. That was the last straw for this bandicoot. The fox is a predator that's very good at finding animals of about that size, and they sort of wiped them out. One of the last places that Eastern barred bandicoots were found to survive was in the tip on the west side of Hamilton. And in the 1970s, when that was discovered, there's quite a lot of work went into trying to understand why and how they could possibly live there and why they survived there and nowhere else. What we found is that at the tip, the bandicoots were nesting in the car bodies, and that those car bodies were providing shelter where they could shelter from things like foxes and cats. And together those car bodies were providing enough shelter for the bandicoot to be able to scurry back and avoid being eaten. Sadly, eventually we were unable to keep bandicoots alive outside areas like this, and the last bandicoots disappeared and they became extinct in the wild in around 2000. In 1990, the last wild bandicoots were removed from Hamilton and taken eventually to the zoo, and the zoo set up a captive breeding program, and there since then have bred I think almost 1,000 bandicoots in that program, and it's from those bandicoots that we've been able to re-establish populations of bandicoots in Hamilton and other places where we've made similar reserves. So what we're doing now is establishing fox-free areas like Hamilton and reintroducing bandicoots into those areas. We've been doing that work now for about 15 years, and more really actively in the last 5 to 10, and that's becoming really successful. Bandicoots do really well when you get rid of all foxes. All the bandicoots we have now are descended from the 19 animals that we brought in from Hamilton in 1990, which is pretty amazing. How can you help? Do what you can to increase community support and awareness about the Eastern barred bandicoot.